So I don't normally do this, but considering we are on this track of single shot 22 rifles, and I have a single shot 410, I found a gun yesterday that I'd been looking for, but it wasn't the one I was looking for yesterday. I'd been looking for I was looking for yesterday a single shot 20 gauge shotgun. And what I found out is those things are harder to find than I thought. Out of the 5 stores I went to yesterday, I saw 2 single shot 20 gauges. One had an issue with the firing pin being stuck in the out position and you couldn't open the breech. The other being a really nice Ducks Unlimited limited edition that was a little bit out of my budget. But one of the shops I stopped at had the gun that I'd looked for in the past. That is another hard to find one. And so we're about to go into the pawn shop now to see if we can pick this gun up. And it's gonna fit right in with what I'd planned to do with the single shot 22 rifles that we'd already seen and my single shot 410 as it relates to squirrel season. That's just a couple weeks away here in Georgia. So let's run inside and see if we can make a deal on this. So what we've got here is a Savage Model 24 in 22 long rifle and 410 bore. I was looking for a single shot, like I said, and from across the room, this looked like a single shot 410, but the guy behind the counter knew that it was something special and said, hey, you better snag this before someone else does, so I did. So yeah, that was a few weeks ago, and we've already talked about some potential old school squirrel hunting setups. One of them was this Savage Springfield Model 120A single shot 22 rifle. And then while I have not done a dedicated video on this yet, I have been hunting squirrel with this for a while. This is a Savage Model 94 410 bore shotgun. This one belonged to my great granddaddy. He used it as his truck gun, kept it behind the seat of his truck out here at the farm for pest control and snake control. Both of these pretty old guns, probably, I mean, late 60s, which, I mean, that's not that old, but they both do have serial numbers, so I am sure that they are post, late 60s when that was required. So the Savage Model 24 started life as the Stevens Model 22 410. And it was, sort of thought of as a survival gun for a while. I know some of these were issued to the military as survival guns. But what I see it as is sort of a all-around great truck gun. Something that would be awesome to keep out on a ranch or on a farm to be used for pest control or snake control. I've got Sugar in here with me. Come here, Shug. Come on. When I bring her out here, I have to put bells on her so I can keep hold of her or keep track of her when we're out walking around. But the bells get in the way in here. All right, you're good. Go on. So it's sort of the perfect woods gun as well if you are small game hunting. So you could be hunting rabbit, squirrel, and for one that runs across the trail, you've got the 410. And for ones that are a little further away, or for that squirrel that's a little higher up in the tree, you've got the 22. Now, since this is a 22 long rifle, it can also shoot 22 longs and 22 shorts. And I have shot some 22 shorts through it. And with this single shot, everything is closed in up here, and those 22 shorts are very quiet. As are 22 subsonics out of this, and then the Aguila Calibri that I shoot to. It's just an awesome, quiet 22 rifle. So what am I going to do with it? This is an old one. It really is. I'm going to squirrel hunt with it. I don't buy guns to keep them locked up. I buy guns because I want to learn, what makes them tick, and what I can do with them. I've already shot my first squirrel with this gun using CCI subsonics, and then I've shot some trap with the 410 a few weeks ago as well. So what I want to try next is to see how close my 22 barrel fires to point of aim with the 410 barrel if I'm using something like a rifled slug. So if you're wondering, hey, are you going to do anything else other than small game hunt with it? I might try to take it up in a deer stand and see if we can pop one of those bad boys. Now the deer is going to have to be pretty close, but that's what we're going to be testing today is can I hit a target using the iron sights on this, sighted in for the 22 barrel with the 410 barrel using a slug. So there are a lot of different iterations of the Model 24. This one is sort of, from everything I can see, it's sort of a first gen. Your selector switch is here on the side. It's this little disc that moves up and down. So you can switch from the from the 22 barrel to the 410 barrel. When it's in the up position, you can switch it down to 410 and then back up. So you can be walking in the woods with 410 loaded, 22 loaded, and like I said, something quickly comes across, keep it in the 410 and you could pop them as they go across. And you know, if you see something out in the distance, you may have more time to take aim at it, flip it back up, and you can take aim with the 22. Now, this is another one of those guns that benefits a right-handed shooter, because if you are aiming down the barrel, you can swap it up or down and up using your index finger. Since I am left-handed, I use the thumb on my right hand to switch it up and switch it down. Not that big of a deal, but I guess some guns were having issues with this selector switch. They could get damaged or something like that. And so Savage switched to a trigger selector switch. So for a while, from what I've seen, they made sort of like a piece you could stick down in here to pull up and down if you wanted to retrofit an older style gun with it. But eventually they switched to like this rocker switch that's on top of the hammer. I think I said trigger, but it's the hammer. That would allow you to switch it up and down. And as a left-handed person, I think that would be cool because it's just right here. Not much has to be done. So, like I said, main thing I'm going to do with this is take it in the squirrel woods. It's going to be now in my rotation of, old style guns that I want to take squirrel hunting this year. And you may hear me refer to this as a single shot, even though it's a double barrel. The way I'm using it is a single shot gun. So most of the time, like the way I've been shooting it has been, I'm either shooting 22s or I'm shooting 410s. But when I'm in a hunting situation, like I guess you could call it a double barrel. So Savage had many different configurations for this after they bought out Stevens. This one does not have a serial number, so I have not dated it yet. But since I know that it's got this switch on it, I know that it's one of the earlier ones. The barrels on these two are sort of soldered together. There's a slit sort of carved out of the 410 barrel for this top barrel to sit down into, and then they soldered down the side. They went away from that, and then they just sort of split the barrels, and you would have a barrel band up here at the end. That's fine. I mean, it's a way to save money, but the folks who collect these, this is sort of the prime example of what a collector would want. The older style, very good condition. Like I don't know if this was used very much at all, but it's going to get used now. It was missing the rear sight elevator, so I did have to order one of those off of Gun Parts. And I ordered a rear sight too, because this one was sort of feeling loose in the dovetail, but the new rear sight that I put in felt even looser. So I just put a drop of Loctite in the dovetail here after I sighted it in. So when I say that like the 410 needs to be, somewhere close, it really does need to be, because I don't want to have to readjust this sight and knocking it loose with a hammer to get rid of that Loctite every time. Savage still makes a combination gun. They've swapped around the 24. It's now called the 42. And it is a big like downgrade from this, right? It's got synthetic stocks, synthetic forearm. The barrels are, I don't think they're blued. I believe they're Parkerized. They are split. And it looks more like a toy, to be honest. And it's not fun to say, that a firearm is a toy, but they do look like a toy. But they also made these in many different chamberings. So you had 22 mag, 222 Remington. Some were made with 223 Remington. 30-30, which I think would be an awesome chambering for this, would be for 30-30. And many more. And then for the shotgun barrel, they had 410, 20 gauge, 12 gauge. So you could kind of get whatever combination you wanted out of this. I've got a friend of mine who has a 223 over 20, and that would be a really cool gun to have as well. So let's take this out, do some shooting with it, and then we'll come back in here for some final thoughts. All right, now we're gonna load it up. It is a little rainy today, so I'm not going out to my regular range. We're just gonna shoot here by the camp house. But in my top barrel, I'm gonna have some CCI subsonics. So just place that in here. Bottom barrel is going to be this Winchester slug here. I think it's a 1/4 ounce slug. So we'll take our first shot at that soda can that I've got filled with water downrange, and the second shot will be on a coffee can that's about 5 yards further out. I am going to use a monopod rest for this. Now I'm thinking that since I've got this thing where I just hold a little bit under it to hit with the 22, that I may be able to just hold dead on with the 410 to hit out there. So let's take that first 22 shot. All right. Now, I have not shot a slug out of this yet, but I'm gonna flip this switch down, pull my hammer back, and then try that coffee can further back. Hey, I hit it. Let's go see what that 410 did to the coffee can. Now, when it comes time to eject them, it does not pop the round out. Now, sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. But you do kind of, you have to pull them out yourself. So a cool thing going on out here right now is that we've got an alligator burrow coming in from the bank over here, and it's created a nice sinkhole right here. That's what that orange tape is over there. It's to keep people from driving here, but yeah, they just burrow in. Let's take a look here. Did some work to this can. Ooh, maybe hit it a little on the left side, but hey, dead squirrel. And let's take a look at our coffee can. Oh my goodness. So whenever it dries off a little bit, I may take this back to the range just to see exactly where it's hitting. But I mean, I hit a coffee can from over there, like I wouldn't want to shoot a deer much further out just because that 410 slug, it needs all the energy it can get to get that deer. But hey, I'm happy that I hit both of them first try on camera. Doesn't always work out that way. So if I'm being completely honest, it is rare that stuff just works out that well for me. So it looks like my idea was right in that I keep the top barrel where I aim just under the target, and that allows me to aim directly on the target for this lower barrel. So the barrel still hit a little low, but I mean, knowing that and knowing at what distance I could, ethically try to take a deer with a 410 slug is good information to have, right? Now, speaking of ethics and a 410, is it ethical to even try what I'm gonna try? Yeah, I think it is. And if it wasn't ethical to try to take a deer with a 410, they wouldn't sell 410 slugs with a picture of a deer on them. That's my opinion, at least. And while I haven't seen many videos on YouTube of folks deer hunting with a 410, I have seen enough to know that a deer will absolutely get laid to the ground, getting walloped with a slug from a 410. So Stevens made this gun starting in the late 30s, and after Savage bought out Stevens, they continued this into production in, I believe, the early 2000s, maybe the mid aughts, I guess you would call them, until they re-released this gun as the 42. Remember, that's the one that I talked about earlier. In my hunt for my single shot 20 gauge that may just have to be another day or another year for that. I did see a few Savage 42s, and I did pick them up in the stores, and I wasn't impressed. The ejector it's sort of a manual extractor, and it's not really an ejector at all. So you have to actually pinch the sides. Once you've got it open like this, you sort of have to pinch the sides and pull back and manually extract the rounds. Now, one thing that is cool is that while you do not have the option to manually extract that 410, sometimes that 22 chamber up here does get a little tight, and the extractor doesn't want to push it out by itself, but they have a little tab that sort of pokes out from the side that you can just stick a fingernail in, pull out, and it will extract your round for you. But yeah, guys, you will see this firearm again, hopefully in the squirrel woods. If you have any experience with a Savage 24 or a Savage 42, any of the flavors and chamberings, please be sure to mention that in the comments below. I'm gonna try to have a lot of fun with this gun this hunting season, and hopefully you'll stick around to see what we've got in store. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. And follow us on Instagram if that's your thing as well. We do post some behind the scenes video and photos from these recordings onto Instagram, but Meta sort of limits our audience over there, so you do have to search me out. It is at Yonder Oak, same as the channel name here. Hope to see you over there as well, and do subscribe and watch more videos. Thanks for stopping by.